guys, how's it going? Today we've got some beautiful things to plant out in the garden. We've got one variety of Heuchera called Silver Gumdrop, Queen of Elegance tree roses. We're going to put these in some pots, and a brand new variety of Delosperma, common name as ice plant, called Pink Radiance, and it's coming out this next year. I'm so excited about this group of plants, kind of focusing in on pinks and purples here. Like, look at this one. Oh, hear the hammers. I'm going to probably mention it in every video for a while, but they're building a house behind the dumpster in that lot back there. And today is kind of a noisy day. They must be working on some framing stuff, I think. Anyway, so that's what the hammers are in the background. Anyway, Pink Radiance, look at the blooms on this one. The light lavender around the outer edges of the petals, and then the dark kind of like pink purple in the middle, and then the yellow eye. I think they're so interesting looking, and they're kind of a succulent ground cover. They grow about 2 to 4 inches tall, but they'll spread out a couple of feet. Zone 6 through 10, which we are a zone 6. We're supposed to almost freeze tonight. I think it said 33. And hopefully it's the last of that we see. I thought we were past it already. Yeah, it still says 33, and then 36, 38, 38, and then back up into the 40s. And we're supposed to get rain in about 15 minutes, and the wind's supposed to kick up. So anyway, we're gonna have to hurry through these planting projects. I also have one more rose that if we have time, I'd like to go get it. It's actually one of the parent plants of this Queen of Elegance rose. So look at the color on this one. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. It's a floribunda type, so they usually have a little bit smaller of a canopy, and they get several roses per stem. It has a really high fragrance, but the parent plants for this rose is Coco Loco, which is the other one I want to plant today, and Life of the Party. I have both of those varieties out in our cut flower garden, and both of them performed really well for me last year, but for some reason that Coco Loco did not make it through the winter. So that's the one I need to replace. And I've had Coco Locos before, and they've done fine, so I don't know what the deal is there. The breeze is starting to pick up a bit. And then we have the Silver Gumdrop Heucheras. I just love this one. Look at the color of these leaves. They just shine in a shadier area. Part shade to shade, the backside of the leaves. Look at that. They kind of mirror the color of the stems. The leaf canopy usually grows about 8 inches tall, so it's not an enormous plant. Of course, the bloom stalks make it appear much larger in scale, but those aren't on the plant, the whole season. I do like to leave them for quite a long time after they're done blooming because they look really good. Eventually, though, we take them down, you clip them down here. There's a whole bunch more starting though down there. A whole bunch more bloom stalks. But these are a zone 4 through 9, and I have the perfect spot for these. I was just showing you one of my favorite spring combinations of plants in this area, the Autumn Frost Hosta and the White Bleeding Hearts. We've got Brunnera in here and some other hostas and things. Can't even remember planting that one or this one. So hopefully they don't get too big. But I thought, well, wouldn't it be pretty to tuck these in right here, have a little bit of a different color tone? I think it'd be pretty. I'm gonna go get the other two. Well, apparently I thought that before. There's like the little leavings of a Heuchera right there. What do we think? Does that look pretty? Or should we stick with all greens in this spot? I think we'll give them a shot right here, see what happens. Also, all of these little yellow things all over the ground, and they're kind of like a soil top dress right here. They're all blooms from this maple that's right overhead. I think it's just about done dropping, and we've had so much wind over the last week. I'm hoping it's done. Oh boy. I think they're better over here. The problem is I have this hosta coming up, and I feel like that's gonna need all of this space. And I don't want to crowd it too much. Besides, that looks a little less congested. I like that look quite a lot. That's what we're gonna do. Look at how beautiful those are right there. I love it. Oh my. Aaron says a big dust storm is coming.
Might want to get inside. It's going to get windy.
Okay. I'm gonna go close up the greenhouse. Ah! You got it okay? You need help? Ah! Ah! I'm gonna go close the greenhouse. Oh my mercy. I saw some people down below our hill burning today, like not very long ago. I hope it's all going okay down there for them. All right, west wall is down. The Hartley's still open. Shoot. Whew. Whenever we get a windstorm like this, there's always certain trees that I say a little prayer for, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it comes down. And that would be our 2 willow trees and our mulberry up front. Those little birch trees over there almost laying sideways. Well, it's clearly a new day. Those wind gusts, they registered just below 60 miles an hour and they lasted for quite a long time. Longer than windstorms around here usually last. Usually it's a quick, few minutes and then it dies down. It lasted like that for, a lot longer than that, and then it was really breezy through the rest of the evening. And then we registered a low temperature of 27.5 degrees. So I walked around a little bit and everything looks fine. So I'm thankful for that. I thought we would start where we left off because I can't even remember if we had a good chance to look at it. So the silver gumdrop heucheras, having made it through the wind and the 27.5 degree temperatures, looking pretty fresh for all of that. And I really love them in this area, more so than I think in this space. I think what I love about this view right here, if you look through, I like the different colors of green in here. I think that's really peaceful. And then you just see a little color pop from the Japanese maple and a little color pop from the heuchera blooms. And I think that's just perfect. Sometimes I don't want a whole bunch of color blocking. Sometimes I just want it to be a very soothing mix of different colors of green and different textures. So now we can go tackle the other projects, starting with the tree roses. And these are the containers that we're gonna plant them in. Last year we planted, I can't even remember the name of the variety. They were kind of a little apricot bloom. We planted them late in the season and they clearly did not make it. It was a little bit of a weird winter for us with container plants, and I think it was because we were a little bit too loose with our watering schedule. I think this next winter it's going to be every 2 weeks on the dot. Doesn't matter if there's snow on the ground or if it's been raining, we're going to water all the containers. And we're going to make sure to water all the way around the root ball and really saturate the soil, because that's typically where I see the best luck in keeping your plants wintering over in containers, is just making sure they don't dry out. And that can be a difficult thing to judge in wintertime because it's not on your radar. You don't really feel like anything needs water because nothing is actively growing, especially shrubs like this that look kind of sad in the wintertime anyway with no leaves, but it's still important to keep them really moist. So anyway, I think we'll just have a little bit more of a tight schedule with that this next year. But that's okay. That gave us the opportunity to plant these brand new tree roses, which I'm excited for. In fact, I'm wondering if these will just pull right out. Not without gloves though. Where are my, gotta go find them. Easy. Perfect. Well, that one came out really easy. Okay, now these rose trees right here, they come into the garden center as bare root roses. And they've been potted in here for a few weeks now, but I'm expecting most of this potting soil to fall off the roots. So I'm gonna add a little biotone into this soil before I plant, and then we're just gonna try to get them in there as gently as possible. And there they are, all done. The thing I love about these rose trees is that they're really a nice size. I so often see them with way longer trunks than I want, with just like an itty bitty top to them. And you know, we've got those beautiful Julia Childs. I'll run over and show you those. I was stressed for one of them during that storm yesterday. I mean, it was leaning way over. So we got it staked up, but they look amazing. And their proportion and scale are also perfect. I actually think I overcorrected a little bit. It was this one right here that was just like, oh my goodness, it was freaking me out. But they look really good. This one could also be staked a little bit after yesterday, but I actually didn't trim these at all. If you look in the canopy here, you can actually see some branches from last year that I need to trim out and clean up. I just got to a point where I thought, let's just leave them and see what happens. You know, the top canopy is definitely a lot heavier now, so that's something to consider when you do have rose trees, to make sure you get them staked up properly. I'm going to fix this one. Look at that. I just came out here and thought I just got to get this thing tied. So anyway, got to relax that string a little bit. But I did stake these little rose trees in the pots. I ran a stake just along their trunk and tied them off. You can see that green stake right along there. And you don't really notice it too much, I don't think. And it will help keep these nice and straight and strong. And I did fix the drip system as well. So I just coupled into the line that was already running up through the bottom of the container, but we had clipped the drip out of it so we could replace it. So I was able just to put some brand new 1/4-inch brown drip tubing in there, and then I tucked it in so you didn't see it on the top, because I may or may not plant up the top of these containers. Sometimes I kind of like the clean look. We'll see. I just think they're so pretty. And now I'm trying to decide, maybe you guys can help me with this. We have a lot of boxwoods around the Hartley, and I stopped them right up there at the top of the walkway. And I didn't bring them all the way down to the ends, and maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I just know that there does need to be a little opening along the way to where we have just a little footpath, maybe just a few flagstones that lead us out to the grass. But you can see the tree made it through unscathed. There were some branches down, of course, but I'm so thankful that I came out here just the day before we were out here cleaning up this willow tree. So it didn't have quite as much weight on it, which is always nice. Okay, so now we've got the ice plants right here, and I'm gonna stop by the high tunnel and get that Coco Loco rose. We'll get that planted as well. Pretty day. In the rose garden, you can see that most of them have flushed some new leaves. They got a little bit of damage from frost. I actually think that happened, well, a little bit last night, and then we had one other cold snap, kind of like this one, right after a warm period, but they're all coming through except for a couple, and the Coco Loco was one of them. So you can see right here, Coco Loco, nothing. It did push some growth earlier this spring, but it hasn't done anything since then, so we'll get it pulled out and get the fresh one in. I just figured out why it died. There are no drip emitters put to this rose. How did it survive last year? We gotta go get some. Well, this one should do a lot better now that it has water run to it. And it's so nice to see this row looking a little bit more complete. We do have quite a number of holes left though in this space. I think there's like 36 or 37 spaces left to plant roses, and we had thought about retooling this area and putting more space between the roses, or just doing a completely different design. And the reason why we planted these in rows is because everything else out here is in rows, and I kind of like that for a cut flower garden. This is not like a formal rose garden. When I have things in rows, I'm much more apt to cut things instead of leaving them, and that's the whole point of this space, is to have flowers that I want to cut. When I've got flowers out in the landscape or in a specific design, it's hard for me to cut them because I want them to look pretty out in the garden. That's why I put them there, you know, to be pretty in that design. So anyway, I think for now we're just going to leave things as is. We'll address it later if we feel like we really do need more space between them. And this is where I want the ice plants to go. I want some really bright summer color back here. You know, we have the aronia, which are looking so good. These are the firescape, what are they? Snowfire. I was halfway there. Anyway, they are gorgeous and they bring some beautiful earlier spring color, and then we will have our iris, which brings some early summer color. And we've also got black lace elderberry, which will be kind of an early summer bloomer. Spirea, same. And then it would be nice to have something right in here that's got that bright, vivid pink. And this tends to be a hot spot in the summertime, so I think that the plants will really thrive in this location. And there they are. I'm hoping that they fill in this area. I'm glad that each one of them gets so wide. That'll be awesome, and it'll help with a little bit of weed suppression back here. And I think that they will like this hot spot. Now this spirea right here is the double play gold, and you can see that it came through the winter looking really good. We planted these last year, and they do have pink blooms in the summertime, so I think they'll look pretty with the ice plant. And it just came to me that I forgot to show you what the Coco Loco rose looks like, and my tag must have blown out somewhere. So I'm gonna have to retrace my steps and find that, but maybe we can toss a picture up on the screen of what that rose will look like when it is in bloom. But I'm really happy with everything that got done. So happy that everything seemed to make it through okay. The couple of things that I have noticed just in passing, we have a Sargent crabapple that just yesterday was in the most full glorious bloom I've about ever seen, and all the blooms are brown this morning. And then also our grapes had really fresh, beautiful leaves on them, and those all got frost damage. So hopefully they'll flush back new. The grapes, though, that I'm training into standards that are in containers in front of the greenhouse, those did fine. They're sort of underneath the canopy of that willow tree, so I think that that helped them out. But the ones more exposed, those got nailed. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.